It's time for Come and Talk It with your host, Michael Cargill, brought to you by Texas Law Shield. Over the last decade, Michael has championed and supported the rights of law-abiding Texans to own and use firearms. He is the owner of Central Texas Gun Works, a veteran of the United States Army, and has achieved national exposure in such prestigious media outlets such as Forbes Magazine, Fox Business News, CNN Money, AOL, BBC World News, Huffington Post, and the New York Times. Cargill vigorously defends lawful gun ownership in this country without regard to party politics. And now, here's Michael Cargill.
Good day, Austin, Texas, the live music capital of the world. Let's praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. 8 people are dead after a mass shooting at an outlet mall in Allen, Texas. We are going to tell you what happened and what we know about the shooter and his motive. Jamie Hammonds of DASH joins the show to talk about his developing theory about the water deaths in Austin at Lady Bird Lake. Also, Prop A passed in Austin. What does that mean for the city? What's going to happen with Austin and its police department? And lastly, our field correspondent Gary Faust was nearly kicked out of the Ted Nugent his rally that he had there at the Capitol, and it's called How Many More? Border rally last week by Texas DPS while asking people if we should arm the southern border. Also, man, I had a guy walk into the gun store, and he said, I need to buy a gun. I said, what's going on? He said, I need to buy a gun because I need a gun. I need one right now. So when someone says that, we have to ask them questions, kind of talk to the person, see what's going on in their life, what's happening. Boy, I got some video and some pictures to show you what happened to this guy while he ran into the gun store. Also, there's always like so much more, Zach. It's like so much more that's going on. Mm-hmm. It's insane, So did you hear about the fact that a man drives from Cali to Utah and shoots his brother?
There's an old guy, right?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Did you hear about there's another one. Man, God, what is it called? There's another story, and it's really crazy. It happened down South Texas, and I don't know if it was a guy, male or female or whatever, but uses a vehicle to run over and mow down a crowd of people, homeless people, or immigrants, migrants, whatever you want to call them. That happened this morning.
Ouch.
Yes. No one's talking about that. They're not talking about that like talking about this shooting. We're talking about assault weapons, but we're not talking about assault vehicles. Going to talk about that. So let's go back to Allen, Texas. So the assailant who killed 8 people at a Texas outlet mall was identified by authorities Sunday as a 33-year-old man who had been staying at a nearby motel. 3 law enforcement officials who spoke to the Associated Press named the gunman as Mauricio Garcia, who was fatally shot by a police officer who happened to be near the suburban Dallas Mall. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity in order to discuss details of an ongoing investigation. One of the officials said investigators had been searching the motel and had a home in the Dallas area connected to the suspect. The official said police also found multiple weapons at the scene after Garcia was fatally shot, including an AR-15 style rifle and a handgun. The gunman's name emerged as the community of Allen mourned for the dead and awaited word on the 7 people who were wounded. John Mark Caton, senior pastor at Cotton Creek Church, about 2 miles from the mall, offered prayers during this weekly service for victims, first responders, and the shoppers and employees who walked out past things they never should have seen. Some of our people were there, according to the pastor. He said some perhaps in this room. He said some of our students were working in those stores and will be changed forever by this, according to the pastor. Recalling the phone conversations with police officers, he said, There wasn't an officer that I talked to yesterday that at some point in the call didn't cry. The church planned an evening prayer vigil in the aftermath of the shooting, which was the latest attack to contribute to the unprecedented pace of mass killings this year. Barely a week before, 5 people were fatally shot in Cleveland, Texas, after a neighbor asked a man to stop firing his weapon while a baby slept, authorities said. Police did not immediately provide details about the victims at Allen Premium Outlets, a sprawling outdoor shopping center, but witnesses reported seeing children among them. Some said they also saw what appeared to be a police officer and a mall security guard unconscious on the ground. A 16-year-old pretzel stand employee, Maxwell Gums, described a virtual stampede of shoppers. He and others sheltered in a storage room. He says, "We started running. Kids were getting trampled." He said, "My coworkers picked up a 4-year-old girl and gave her to her parents." Now, the dash cam videos circulating online show the gunman getting out of a car and shooting at people on the sidewalk. More than 36 shots could be heard as the vehicle that was recording the video drove off. Allen Fire Chief Jonathan Boyd said 7 people, including the shooter, died at the scene. 2 other people died at the hospital. The wounded remain hospitalized Sunday, and 3 in critical condition and 4 in fair condition, the Allen Police Department said in a statement. Now, Allen police officer was in the area on an unrelated call when he heard shots at 3:36 p.m. Now, the officer engaged the suspect and neutralized him. He neutralized that threat. He then called for emergency personnel. And just so you know, mass killings have happened with staggering frequency in the United States this year, with an average of about 1 per week, according to a database maintained by the Associated Press and USA Today in partnership with Northeastern University. In a statement, President Biden said the assailant wore tactical gear and fired an AR-15 style weapon. He urged Congress to enact tighter restrictions on firearms and ammunition. Such an attack is too shocking to be so familiar, and yet American communities have suffered roughly 200 mass shootings already this year, according to the leading counts, according to President Biden, who ordered flags lowered to half-staff. Republicans in Congress said cannot continue to meet this epidemic with shrug. Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott says, who has signed laws easing firearms restrictions following past shootings, called the mall attack an unspeakable tragedy. The video shared on social media showed people running through a parking lot amid the sounds of gunshot, and it was so loud, according to one bystander, it sounded like it was right outside. We come back from the break, going to talk about this and more. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Folks, this is Doug Man Jones. And I get my gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
Your business is going to have technical problems. There's no question about it. Pacific Office Automation is your guy because problem solving is our passion. Every business is unique, no matter how big or how small the problem. From copiers and printers, telephone systems, managed IT, print services, and more, we offer integrated, streamlined office solutions to keep your office humming. With Pacific Office Automation, it's problem solved. Visit pacificoffice.com today to find out more.
I'm a U.S. Army veteran with a strong sense of duty and respect for our system of government.
After 12 years, I was honorably discharged and decided I would fulfill the American dream of entrepreneurship and open up a gun shop in Austin, Texas. At my shop, I teach people to be law-abiding and how to safely use their firearm. On page 46, going to talk about Penal Code Section 46.02. The day that ban went into effect, I went into my local ATF in Austin and turned over my bump stock because I'm a law-abiding citizen. But I wasn't going down without a legal fight. So that's why I reached out to NCLA.
NCLA is representing Michael Cargill because federal agencies do not have the power to rewrite statutes. Bump stocks are not machine guns. If Congress wants to change the law and ban bump stocks, it certainly can do so. But we can't have the executive branch rewriting a statute and putting people in jail for up to 10 years.
It's a problem because, this government agency has said, you know what, something that is legal is now illegal, and we're going to confiscate it from you, and we're not going to compensate you for it, and you're going to become a criminal.
The goal of our case here is to tell the ATF that they can't get away with this kind of administrative lawmaking. This isn't constitutionally permissible, and this goes against everything that our nation was founded on.
The bump stock ban turned innocent law-abiding citizens into criminals overnight, even though they were compliant with the statute. And that's not right.
This case is not about where you stand on bump stocks. It's about the rule of law. It's about whether an agency can rewrite a statute and turn a law-abiding citizen into a criminal. If the ATF can ban bump stocks, any agency can ban anything.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so we're talking about the shooting that happened in Allen, Texas, just north of Dallas there. We're going over the report from the Associated Press, and we're talking about this killer who happened to be a 33-year-old man who's staying at a nearby hotel. Neighbors said that he also lived with his parents and lived there quite a while. There's some reports coming out about that, according to some neighbors, but they hadn't seen him in a while. So apparently he was living at the hotel while he was getting ready for this shooting. Republicans in Congress said they cannot continue to meet the epidemic with a shrug. People in the store scattered before employees ushered the group into the fitting rooms and then a lockable back room where they were able to hide until law enforcement showed up to let them out. One person said, I prayed it wasn't kids, but it looked like kids. He said the bodies were covered in white towels, slumped over, bags on the ground. It broke me when I walked out to see that. Further away, someone said that they saw a body of a heavy-set man wearing all black. He assumed it was the shooter. And then someone else said that they saw what appeared to be three people motionless on the ground, including one who seemed to be a police officer and another who resembled a mall security guard. Another shopper said that as he left, he saw someone who looked like a police officer lying unconscious next to a shooter unconscious person outside the store. I've seen his gun lying right next to him and a guy who is like passing out right next to him. So a lot of different reports there. Just so you know, Allen, Texas is a city of 105,000 residents. It's about 25 miles north of downtown Dallas. So, and then we have these little cases, little incidents that happen all over the time. Go ahead, Zach.
Yeah, Michael. So Allen Premium Outlets is a Simon shopping center, and I have the code of conduct pulled up right now.
What is the code of conduct for Simon shopping centers?
Well, they have a bunch of rules, one of which is no weapons are allowed on the property. So
No
this
guns?
is a gun-free zone.
Gun-free zone. No guns allowed. Okay.
So he shouldn't have been there with that gun.
Wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
No guns were allowed. Okay. And then also, let's go up to Oklahoma. Let's go straight up north of I-35 here. Oklahoma. Man, what's going on in Oklahoma?
Oh, that was tragic. So in Oklahoma a few days ago, a convicted sex offender shot 6 people in the head, and then he shot himself.
convicted sex offender, shot 6 people.
Yeah, so he was not legally allowed to own a gun either.
But there's more to the story. He was afraid of something.
I believe he was facing trial, and he did not show up directly before the shooting happened. And according to CNN, he was set to stand trial at 9 a.m. Monday on charges of solicitation of a minor, but failed to show.
And child pornography as well, I believe.
Yes. Bench warrant was issued, and apparently he took the chicken way out. So,
yeah, warrant for your arrest. Wasn't supposed to have a gun in the first place. A lot of things going on. Man, and you know what? A former Texas cop, he said that mass shootings going to keep happening until automatic rifles are off the streets. He said automatic rifles. He said automatic. Folks, let me tell you, before you make a statement about something, you need to take a deep breath. Think about what you want to say, formulate that sentence, and then let it out.
But you can just say things and not know what you're talking about as well,
Yeah,
right?
you can be an idiot. You can be an idiot. Absolutely.
Yeah, every gun safety class I teach, I have to explain to the students that AR-15 does not stand for automatic rifle. It does not stand for assault rifle. It doesn't stand for American rifle.
Even though I like that American
yeah, that'd
rifle.
be cool. But it actually stands for the name of the manufacturer, which is Armalite and rifle.
Armalite rifle.
you would think
It
a
is
police
not
officer
fully
would
automatic.
know that.
Not fully automatic, not an assault rifle. It is a semi-automatic rifle that shoots 1 bullet per trigger pull, just like pretty much every pistol out there. Same exact action.
So Stephen Spanhauer, who rescued a child from the bloody aftermath of Saturday's mass shooting at Allen Premium Outlets in Allen, Texas, tore into arguments that massacres are the result of mental health or anything other than easy access to high-powered weapons during an MSNBC appearance on Sunday, today. He said 9 people, including the assailant, were killed and 7 others were injured, of course. According to Stephen Spanhauer, he says, I work around people that have mental health issues. I don't know what the gunman's problem was. I don't know his motive, but it wasn't mental health that killed these people. It was an automatic rifle with bullets. That's what killed him, according to police officer Spanhauer. So, automatics, let me tell you something. Let me explain something to you people. When it comes to automatic, you pull the trigger, you hold the trigger, and it shoots multiple rounds. That's an automatic.
Very quickly.
Semi-automatic, one function of the trigger, 1 round comes out. That is a semi-automatic. So there's a difference between machine gun and semi-automatic. And so this person most likely had a semi-automatic. But we'll find out. As things come out, we'll find out what gun it was. Was it a stolen gun? Was it a machine gun? Did he use a semi-automatic rifle? We'll find out as time goes out. But he was a security officer, right?
He was a security officer, I believe.
So he was licensed through the state of Texas to be a private security officer. He was level 2, level 3.
Level 3.
Private security.
Yes.
That takes a lot of background checking and even a mental health evaluation.
That is correct. Yeah. So there's a procedure. There's a process in order for you to become a security officer through the state of Texas.
Yeah, he had even just completed some continuing education, looks like around 2018. He did 6 more hours of continuing education, according to the state of Texas.
So it sounds like you can't legislate crazy. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I've been through the private security, basically the checking that they do. They do an extended background check. They take all 10 of your fingerprints. They check those in every database. They add it to the database to be checked in the future. You do a mental health evaluation.
When
that
you're
takes
level 4.
like-
Level 4.
That's level 4?
Yeah.
That's level 4 only?
Yeah. It's level 4. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, hey, this guy was security officer, licensed in the state of Texas with all the checks and everything. Things that people ask for. Things people ask for in California, New York. And so he had those checks and still he slipped through the system and something happened. So I'm curious what medication this guy was on. Was he on any type of drugs?
That tends to be what happens, right?
Yeah. Something's going on there. And especially if he lived with his parents. Of course, that without this stint of him staying in a hotel,
He's 33 years old.
33, staying with your parents. 33.
Interesting.
And apparently with gang affiliations. You go by his tattoos.
Interesting. Was that MS?
MS-13, I believe.
MS-13?
Yeah, with that Dallas logo on his hand there.
Something. Yeah, some kind of little tattoos there. So as time will tell, we'll find out. The media's digging into it. They're digging deep, and we'll figure out, this guy's history and his past. Before you know, what happens in the dark will soon come to light. All right, so, man, I had a customer walk into the gun store, and he was like, I need to buy a gun. I'm like, okay, sure. Walk into the gun room there. We'll show you some, firearms or whatever. And so I'm talking to this guy, and I put a gun in his hands, and his hand starts shaking. And I'm thinking, okay, there's something else going on here. This guy's got, there's a little more to this story. So, I'm showing him how to hold the gun, how to properly, where to put his fingers, his thumbs. Don't put your finger on the trigger. How to stand, how to hold, what to look for as far as the front sight, rear sight, going through all the little steps and all that kind of stuff. And ask him, how do you want to carry the gun? Where are you going to put it? You want to carry it at home? Is it in your vehicle? Is it going to be something you carry on you? You're going to take a course, going through the little checks and the steps and all that kind of stuff. And so, as we're going through this, I noticed, like I said, his hands are shaking a little bit. And so I said, what about, sign up for a course, a class? It's important that you learn when you can use the firearm, when you can threaten someone with a gun, when you can legally shoot someone with a gun. And so I put him in the other room there. We sat down, start chatting and talking. And he started telling me some things about how just moments before he was being followed by someone in Austin. And so this guy was in a car that was following him.
Okay. And
he was walking on the sidewalk. And this guy started following him as he's walking from point A to point B. And this guy continued to follow him. This happened today, Sunday. We got the pictures. I got a video. I got photos of the vehicle. You may be able to make out the license plate. You may be able to see his face. And so we're going to show this when we come back from the break.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, could this be linked to what we're talking about here, Dash?
Very well could be.
Don't know.
Could be.
This could be linked, may not be linked. You just never know,
Well, and also you don't want to ever overlook anything either.
And this guy also walked up to him and said, hey, would you like to make $100?
Interesting.
Some words were exchanged. We come back from the break, going to talk about that and more. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
This is Coley on Noir, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
Your business is going to have technical problems. There's no question about it. Pacific Office Automation is your guy because problem solving is our passion. Every business is unique, no matter how big or how small a problem. From copiers and printers, telephone systems, managed IT, print services, and more, we offer integrated, streamlined office solutions to keep your office humming.
Hello, my name is Edwin Walker. I'm an independent program attorney with Texas Law Shield. I want to talk to you today about an issue that we see on a daily basis. In fact, you yourself will encounter it on a daily basis, and that is the subject of road rage. I am sure that you have all seen road rage. You may have actually been involved in a road rage incident. Now, if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm going to give you a few words of advice on how to react when you find yourself in one of these unfortunate road rage incidents. While on the roadways, we all observe something that makes us upset. Whether it's poor driving, unsafe driving, or just simply somebody being very discourteous. By all means, you should restrain yourself from engaging that person and telling them how bad their actions were, because this can be perceived as an act of road rage. If you're a lawful gun owner, you have a firearm in your vehicle, you do not want to be viewed as the aggressor in a road rage situation. Now, with regard to a situation where an individual has chosen to rage against you, and you are the actual victim of the road rage, if you and the other individuals are still in their automobiles, do not use your firearm to respond to any of the rager's activities. This is because law enforcement views the fact that you're both still safely in your metal boxes as removing any threat of immediacy that you may be harmed. So please, if you have a gun, somebody is raging against you, forget you have a gun. Don't display it, don't brandish it, don't show it, don't point it, and for God's sake, don't fire it. This could result in a lot of trouble for you. Now
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so, so I had this customer walking to the gun store today on a Sunday. And, we get people, we get some random things that always happen in the gun store. And I tell you guys about them, but, I don't think you guys really believe me, the crazy things that actually happen. So a guy apparently is walking around, in Austin. He's just fresh, here in Austin. He's only been in Austin a very short time. And so he's like, from another country. And I don't want to give too much information about him, but he's from another country. He's just here in Austin. And Gary, I'm going to get you for that.
Well,
nothing. So he's fresh in the country. And so he's walking along in Austin, not too far from downtown Austin, and someone starts following him. So a guy starts following him in a vehicle. This customer is walking on the sidewalk, and a guy walks up to him, says, "Hey, you want to make $100?" He starts following this guy. He's like, no, he's walking, trying to get away. He continues to follow him. He's, right next to him. He tries to change directions. This guy turns around. He continues to follow. And we got some video. And so I want to pull up the video of this guy. So, maybe someone may recognize him or what. I'm not sure, but definitely take a look of the video here and see, maybe you recognize this young man. Maybe you recognize him. This person that's following someone and scared this guy to the point that he was just so adamant of he wanted to buy a gun. So I had to talk him down a little bit, talk him down off the ledge. I said, hey, let's think of a couple things here. All right, so someone's following you. What if it was a police officer, doing a sting? That could be a possibility. Hey, it could happen. And officers, prostitution, whatever, conducting a sting operation. You never know, right? So I said, and also I said, well, this person trying to kill you. You got to ask yourself, this is daytime. It's in the daytime, so can you really shoot this person just because they're asking you, hey, you want to make $100? They're following you. Is it enough for you to shoot this person or pull out a gun and use force or deadly force? No, it's not. That's not enough. You need a little more. So that's why, I want to talk him into, taking a class, come take the course, and sit in the class. Let's talk about some different things. Let's talk about use of force and deadly force and all that good kind of stuff. So, I don't know if you're rolling the video. I think we're rolling the video in the background.
Yeah,
I'm
watching it.
All right, cool. All right, so, this guy is just, man, he follows this guy to his apartment.
Oh, what?
Yes.
I would.
He follows him to his apartment, and the guy's like standing inside the, in the entryway of the apartment.
Hold on. Before you continue here,
yeah,
don't walk back to your house.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was about to
say.
Yeah. Don't go to your house.
Walk straight to your front door.
Yeah. Walk straight to your front door. Open up the front door. Walk in. Leave the front door open.
Yeah,
I'm totally joking, by the way. Well, if somebody's following you, you never go back to your house. You're supposed to go to the police station, right? You're supposed to walk to the police station or drive there or whatever.
Well, honestly, to his defense,
I had somebody follow me when I was a kid.
To his defense, he's from another country, and he's like, I've traveled all around the world. I've been in, South America. I've been in, Russia. He's like, that's the first time I felt really unsafe.
It's Austin, Texas, man. This is we got Jose Garza letting everybody run all over the place and molest
My
women.
name is Jose Garza, and I'm humbled to be your district attorney.
And we got, he lets people just run rampant, man. That's out of control. And that's
Austin
coming from
is
me.
One of the
I'm
top
a pretty
5 safest cities in the world.
We got that.
Hey. And in his defense, this guy, when you look at him, you can tell he's from another country. You can tell he's not from the United States. He just has that look. And you can tell
Where was he from again?
He's not from Austin. I don't want to say. And so
he's probably from Europe. He's just soft,
No, he honestly is not, And so he was really uptight. He was, pumped up. I was like, I almost wanted to take him to the gun range and shoot off a couple rounds just to get that, that tension out just a little bit. But he was rightfully so. He was really upset, and I think he was justified in being concerned.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that someone's following you, and I said, hey, you fit the MO. He fit the MO.
Oh, brown hair, brown eyes.
Oh yeah, he fit the MO of the of a victim,
of the alleged serial killer.
The alleged serial killer. That's right. So I say you never know. So
it have something to do with it.
That's
that
right.
was a good transition into what we were talking
Absolutely, because I don't, hey, it could be, could this be the serial killer? Don't know. You just never know. So you just got to be aware of your surroundings at all times. But it's not enough for you to pull out a gun and shoot someone over.
Yeah.
It's not enough. It needs to be a little more.
Is that enough to fist fight somebody over?
No. I told him, there are a couple things you can do. You just need to keep moving, run away. Don't go back to your place. Don't let this person know where you live. That's one thing. There are some other things you can do. I told him, I'm not going to tell you on the air.
I don't even want to know what you think.
No, you don't want to know.
Well, on that note, Jamie has some updates on his developing theory about the potential serial killer.
The more we look into this, we keep hearing drugs come up not illicit drugs. I'm not talking about the people doing drugs, but I'm talking
recreational,
not recreational. People being drugged. That keeps coming up through this whole mess all the time. So I put out a call the other day asking for people that think they've been drugged in the bars in Austin to reach out to me. And I'm getting messages left and right from people. Found a guy that last year he was in a couple of bars on 6th Street. Somebody slipped him some drugs, ended up taking his phone, drained his accounts for $30,000. It happened in one night. So those people have been caught. They did go to jail. But
how long ago was that?
This was October of last year.
October 2022.
Yeah, October 2022.
But there's so much detail in that because these people actually he woke up in his place.
He did.
He actually had a random cell phone that was not his.
He did. Yep.
And so he woke up. When he woke up, he actually opened that cell phone and started putting information in that cell phone.
Wasn't working.
Thinking that, it wasn't working, thinking it was his. So could he been putting in his passwords to different accounts and different things that maybe they had?
Did he have the exact duplicate of the cell phone he
No, I don't.
owned?
Well, I don't believe so. It was so this happened to two guys that same night. Same exact demo where they woke up with different devices and
because they ran into each other.
They ran in. Yeah, well, they found each other online and then met up and started talking about it. Right. And same exact MO in both cases. They were out drinking. Apparently they were drugged with some type of sleeping medication. It wasn't like a roofie or anything like that.
But one of those drugs they don't test for.
Exactly.
When they do the toxicology report.
Yeah, was it a sedative or
it was some type of
Ambien or something?
It was like an Ambien, yes. Some type of prescription sleep medication is what it was. So yeah, it's definitely not one of those that's tested for in your normal toxicology screen. So this is a big problem in Austin in the bars and the club scene.
Not Austin, not the place that don't even test the rape kits.
No. What?
Wait,
why test them?
Remember, they don't test the rape kits.
They don't. You mean the city where Jose Garza?
We don't even test the rape.
Lets everybody go except
it was a lapse in judgment.
Except apparently Daniel Perry.
Yeah, don't test the rape kits here.
Yeah, don't.
You can rape somebody. You won't. Don't worry about the test being.
We don't want to be. There's so much more money to spend on homelessness. So we ain't got to do it.
What else is going on?
So continue here, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, I've got a video going right now that I'm making on this. That's why I was reaching out to these folks. And, like I said, the drugging seems to be a thread running through all of these cases. It's suspected that they had been drugged. we're working to try to get the city to go back and test any tissue or whatever samples that they have left from the toxicology, which it's not easy. I mean, it's hard enough just to get information out of them. So, you know, it's scary how this is happening and that the city is being so quiet on it. We're out here, we can gather all, but they just stand by and do nothing. It blows my mind, honestly. And then you get like the mainstream media that's behind it. They're doing the exact same thing.
Oh man, the local media here in Austin, it's just they have a one-track mind. It's like whenever you're dealing with the local media, any town, any city, they only focus on the party that controls the city.
Yeah.
Whether it's Republicans or Democrats, Libertarian, whoever controls the city, they are the cheerleaders for that particular party.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's scary how that happens too, because, killers could be getting away with it. A killer could be getting away with it. And they're basically being aided by the media in a way. And so, yeah, we're looking at, hopefully we'll have some new information coming up this week out of these drugging cases. I'm going to be sitting down and talking to a few people.
And you also had an update about the Christian Pew, right?
Yeah, so we have
this is kind of confusing.
A little bit.
So be sure to be clear about it.
We have been digging through data from Austin police, and what we found was there was a robbery information report that was put in the day that Christian was found.
Not the night he disappeared, though.
I believe it was the day. I believe it was the day he was found. Actually, that the robbery information.
Are you positive about that?
I'm almost positive. Yeah. There was robbery information, a report, robbery. Well, let's just say it was either the day he went missing or the day he was found. I don't have it in front of me, but there was a robbery information that was reported to APD. There is a report out there that was logged at the exact same date and time of where he was found. It was the day he was found because a robbery report was put in there on Congress Avenue where he was found. So that we're trying to get that report to see exactly if it is connected. I think it's kind of a coincidence if it's not, that there was a robbery that was logged at the exact same place in the same day and time that Christian was found. So looking at APD's database, you can only pull up certain amount of information. You can't pull up names. You can pull up dates, times, locations, and report numbers, but you cannot pull up, any names off of it. So you have to FOIA that information. So hopefully we'll have that here pretty soon.
Okay. And what is Seroquel?
Seroquel.
Antipsychotic for bipolar.
Does it make you sleepy?
It'll make you sleep a long time, but yeah, it could, if used in high dosages, it could definitely knock you out.
I bet that's not tested for.
Yeah. Remember that video we showed a while ago, not too long ago, but a little while ago, of two guys who randomly were in our parking lot of Central Texas Gunworks. They were in the parking lot and they were walking and they were just like out of their mind, just randomly walking around. We actually showed a video of that. Those guys were on something, in that parking lot. And so, this could be the same thing. You just never know. Someone drugged them. They're just randomly walking around in a daze, confused, don't know what's going on.
Okay, so real quick to clarify.
We come back from the break. We're talking about this and more. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hi, this is Stephen Williford, the Barefoot Defender. I get my global gun news from Michael Cargill at Come and Talk It.
He didn't act that way. He never flinched. He went for his pockets. And when he went for his pockets, I thought my heart was going to stop. I mean, Hi, my name's Jerry. The incident we're going to talk about took place in early March of 2017. It started back about 3 years ago. We had a fella in the neighborhood that nobody really knew. We weren't familiar with him, and he was pretty regular about speeding up and down the street. It escalated into more speeding, threats. He chunked some rocks up into the yard, broke my windshield in my truck, and it escalated from that into death threats. And he was constantly chirping about how he was going to end it, and he was going to kill so-and-so, he was going to kill me, and it was all chirping. The day of the confrontation, I was leaving the neighborhood and heading to a meeting downtown Fort Worth. It was a beautiful day. I had my windows down. I was in my Suburban. As I was heading out, just about to leave my neighborhood, this guy comes into the neighborhood, sees me coming out, pulls into my lane, causes me to stop, and then he kind of cut at an angle in front of me and jumped out of his truck and ran at the side of my Suburban, saying, "Today's the day you're gonna die, he's gonna end it." He comes over and he's slamming his hands up against the side of my vehicle, my truck. But he's screaming at me, telling me he's gonna kill me, he's gonna end it, this is the day I'm gonna die. He reaches in to try and open up my door. I grab my weapon, I put my weapon right at his chest at the window and told him to get back, told him to get the hell back. And he never did. He never moved, he never changed anything. He went for his pockets, shuffling into his pockets, and he pulls out his cell phone. I drove off around and called 911 before I got to the end of my street. Yeah, I've carried a weapon for pretty near 20 years, and I've never had to pull my weapon out. Now, I can tell you that when you do that, it's the emotions are incredible. You feel the flush come through your body because you just pulled a weapon on somebody, you're pointing a gun at somebody, and they don't move. And that's a whole nother, they didn't say, "Whoa, stop," like anybody that you'd think would do that, but he didn't act that way. He never flinched. He went for his pockets.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so coming out of Brownsville, Texas, 7 people were killed in Brownsville on Sunday, that's earlier today, when a vehicle plowed into a group at a bus stop near a homeless shelter currently housing migrants. So, man, I don't hear them calling for an assault vehicle.
It was a really nice vehicle, too. It was a new model Range Rover.
Ban that assault Range Rover. We need to go to the dealership and start protesting Range Rover. Yeah. Ban those things.
I agree. Range Rovers are dangerous.
That's right. Several migrants were among the fatalities and injured, said a Brownsville Police Department spokesman. At least 10 people were taken to a local hospital for treatment. Man, an assault vehicle.
Assault is a verb.
Okay, so they're not talking. Okay, so we're not going to go to the dealership and protest the dealership? We're not going to go to the manufacturer?
It's not a gun, Michael.
Oh, my bad. Okay. All right. Fine. I thought we'll get a chance to protest the dealership.
No, just protest guns instead.
Can we sue the
Everybody's doing it.
Can we sue the manufacturer? No?
Can you?
I don't know. Can we?
Why not? I think you should be able to sue a gun.
It's their fault.
Well, the Commerce and Arms Act, isn't that what it is that used to prevent that, Michael? But they've found a way to get around that.
A mass car, what do you call that? A mass, can't get mass shooting, mass what?
Mass running over?
Mass running over? Okay.
Mass minor accident.
All right. All right, so you guys are in. So what's going on here in Austin with this situation?
I'm doing the math on this here, but so regarding this crime lab report, it was reported that the offense date and time was November 19th at 8:30 p.m.
Okay.
Which would have been a Tuesday, and Christian Pugh, the article I'm reading here from Fox 7. Says that after 60 hours, a 21-year-old man was reported missing, which was published on the 19th. 60 hours prior to that would have been the
Saturday.
Well, no, I think he was reported. 16th. It was Sunday at like 1 a.m. Yeah, 1:30 a.m. He was reported missing. So 60 hours after that Sunday would have been roughly Tuesday evening. So that crime lab report, which was not actually exactly on, it's hard to see with these maps, but it's near where he was found, which would have been 60 hours later. So that does roughly line up.
Yeah, it lined. Yeah, we went through that over and over to make sure that we had our timing down on it.
So the report, when he was found, it could have just been reported as a robbery in the crime lab.
Well, I've requested the report from the city. So the only way to conclusively know what this is about is to get the report and see what, see who's on it, see what name is on it. There's nothing conclusive over what we just talked about. It will be conclusive once we verify the report and have it in our hands. So
yeah, that's a good point. It's important to remember that none of this is conclusive. This is speculation. Exactly. We're kind of just sharing information that we're finding as we go. We're not investigators. Jamie's a documentarian and I do street journalism. So this isn't like, we're not, PIs, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Just sharing info here.
Okay. Man.
Yeah, it's interesting, though. I mean, that report, a robbery report, when he was found, if it does turn into that this was a report on Christian Pugh, that would very much so line up with the druggings that we're talking about. It would line up with what I'm looking at right now as far as how many druggings are happening in the city. And it could very well line up with what's happening, like with Martin Gutierrez, Jason John. This could definitely change the direction of the investigation. Now, the only thing is APD's website where you can pull these cases up. It only goes back, I think, 2 years. You can, so you have to use another resource, which Crime Lab is a website that's publicly available, and that what they do is every day they're pulling all of these reports and putting them in a database. So you can go back, I think, on Crime Lab to 2007. I think it goes back a long way, but it's a good resource for anybody looking, for crime data in Austin.
All right, so man, I think we got a good name here for that. What happened in Brownsville, Texas? Vehicular mass murder.
I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds accurate.
Yeah, vehicular mass murder. I think that wins. All right, Chris.
Vehicular mass murder.
Yeah, I think that one wins right there. I like that one. All right, so you know what? Let's talk about the Senate. The Senate Judiciary, they're trying to set the stage to impeach Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas.
What did he do?
The bottom line is everything is on the table, according to the Senate there. They say day after day, week after week, more and more disclosures about Justice Thomas. We cannot ignore them.
What are they, though?
According to Illinois Democrat, go figure, right?
Yeah, but what are they?
I don't know. They're going about, his accepted lavish trips and gifts.
Okay.
Did he go to a particular island that we may or may not
Maybe
know about?
Was it the, what was that? He took the Lolita Express over to the little St. James, over to Epstein's Island?
Lolita Express.
They don't want to release that list. They just playing with you. They know you're stupid. They don't think you're stupid.
Me specifically?
That list was released.
So Judge Thomas has accepted lavish trips and gifts from GOP mega donor Harlan Crow, which have gone mostly unreported on the justice's financial disclosures. Crow also purchased several real estate properties, including the home where Thomas' mother lives, from the Thomas family, and paid boarding school tuition for Thomas' grandnephew, according to the ProPublica. The extent to which these transactions and hospitality should have been reported by Thomas has been the subject of a debate among judicial ethics experts. So, a couple of things there. I think they're trying to set the stage. We got some gun cases that's going that direction, people. Okay? We don't need an impeachment right now. I need my gun cases to be heard first before we think about an impeachment. They're trying to do the okie doke.
That would slow everything down, wouldn't it?
You can't win one way. Yeah, they're just trying to change the game here. We're trying to, it's all a chess game. It's a chess match, and that's what we're trying to do here.
Yeah, it's chess match to them, but little do they know that we're playing 7D blackgammon.
I don't play blackgammon. I don't even know what that is.
Come on, man.
Oh, man. Okay, all right. What else we got to talk about?
The police tried to detain me at the Capitol last Saturday.
What's up with that?
Man, you know what? I got to tell you what, Michael. I was exercising my First Amendment rights, and
as a journalist.
As a street journalist, gonzo street journalism. Very compelling, hard-hitting stuff, Michael.
Your First Amendment right as a journalist.
Yeah, not the second, the first.
Just asking questions.
I was just trying to talk to a guy that was there. You want me to explain the story?
Explain it to me.
And then afterward, can we play the clip, Casey?
We will play the clip.
Look, so here's what happened. I went down to Ted Nugent's how many more border rally at the Texas state capitol. And there was some other people there that were speaking about the violence, the murders, the rapes. Recently, there was a young girl, I believe it was, an 8-year-old that was found with 67 different types of DNA in her. So this is very real, very disgusting stuff. And so I went down there to investigate. And given that we produce a show about guns, I also wanted to ask people if we should arm the southern border with guns. And got some interesting people, as usual. Talked to some Australians who debated guns with Australians. They were clueless. Talked to a Confederate guy. He was completely out of his mind. But there were also some really smart, intelligent people there that had opinions. And in the midst of talking to these people, a man with a mask and sunglasses and socks, boots with socks, started handing out flyers with the names of worldwide Jewish organizations on them that could be allegedly, potentially perceived as being anti-Semitic. And the speaker who was on stage at the time started saying, "Get out of here. We don't want you here. You know, get lost, blah, blah, blah." So naturally, my street journalism instincts kicked in, Michael, and I chased this guy down, trying to ask him what he was doing here. And as that unfolded, the Texas DPS decided to intercept me and stop me from talking. They said, "Get off, get out of here. You can't incite a fight. You can't instigate. You're not allowed to ask this guy questions," yada, yada, yada.
What stops you from asking him on the sidewalk outside the gates?
Well, you know what? What stopped me was that my camera guy, I don't know the word to call him on air.
He didn't have heart.
He didn't have the balls, all right? I love my camera guy. Death.
All right, let's go to roll that video.
Run the video.
Something's happening.
You want to go talk to him?
Sir, stop. Back up.
Well, what did I do wrong? I just want to ask this guy why he's here. What the f***? Why can't I talk to this guy?
We're not going to let you all entice a fight or something. We're not here.
You think that I'm enticing a fight by asking one person why he came here to disrupt this rally?
I'm going to ask you a question, sir. You get to my
I'm not allowed to ask you questions. For real?
We're not going to answer him. We don't have to answer him.
So, well, then how come I can't go talk to this guy? What did he even just do?
We don't know his actions. We don't know your actions.
Off.
That's it.
Get off.
Get off. Now I got to leave.
Now I got to leave. Boy, I tell you. You know, we have some good experiences. We have some bad experiences. But we have a First Amendment right. We have a second. We have a third. And thanks goodness for the second. It protects all of our constitutional rights. We also have a fourth and the fifth. Because some people exercise their right to remain silent.
I don't.
This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Hey, this is AWR Hawkins, Breitbart News, and you're listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.
He didn't act that way. He never flinched. He went for his pockets, and when he went for his pockets, I thought my heart was going to stop. I mean, I just. Hi, my name's Jerry. The incident we're going to talk about took place in early March of 2017. Started back about 3 years ago. We had a fella in the neighborhood that nobody really knew. We weren't familiar with him, and he was pretty regular about speeding up and down the street. It escalated into more speeding, threats. He chunked some rocks up into the yard, and broke my windshield in my truck, and it escalated from that into death threats. And he was constantly chirping about how he was gonna end it, and he was gonna kill so-and-so, he was gonna kill me, and it was all chirping. The day of the confrontation, I was leaving the neighborhood and heading to a meeting in downtown Fort Worth. It was a beautiful day. I had my windows down. I was in my Suburban. As I was heading out, just about to leave my neighborhood, this guy comes into the neighborhood, sees me coming out, pulls into my lane, causes me to stop, and then he kind of cut at an angle in front of me and jumped out of his truck and ran at the side of my Suburban, saying, "Today's the day you're going to die. He's going to end it." He comes over and he's slamming his hands up against the side of my vehicle, my truck. But he's screaming at me, telling me he's going to kill me. He's going to end it. This is the day I'm going to die. He reaches in to try and open up my door. I grabbed my weapon. I put my weapon right at his chest at the window and told him to get back, told him to get the hell back. And he never did. He never moved. He never changed anything. He went for his pockets, shuffling into his pockets, and he pulls out his cell phone. I drove off around and called 911 before I got to the end of my street. Yeah, I've carried a weapon for pretty near 20 years, and I've never had to pull my weapon out. Now, I can tell you that when you do that, it's the emotions are incredible. You feel the flush come through your body because you just pulled a weapon on somebody. You're pointing a gun at somebody, and they don't move. And that's a whole nother. They didn't say, "Whoa, stop," like anybody that you'd think would do that, but he didn't act that way. He never flinched. He went for his pockets, and when he went for his pockets, I thought my heart was going to stop. I was actually told that if he would have pulled out a gun, he'd have shot me before I could have actually pulled the trigger, and that's pretty awakening. I contacted Texas Law Shield and spoke with them and got a statement that I wrote, and I turned it in the following day. And it was subsequent to that I was told that I was going to be arrested for deadly conduct, and Texas Law Shield stepped up to the plate, and they got in my corner and handled it from there.
Your business is going to have technical problems. There's no question about it. Pacific Office Automation is your guy because problem solving is our passion. Every business is unique, no matter how big or how small the problem. From copiers and printers, telephone systems, managed IT, print services, and more, we offer integrated, streamlined office solutions to keep your office humming. With Pacific Office Automation, it's problem solved. Visit pacificoffice.com today to find out more.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, let's go to Austin, Texas. Let's talk about police accountability. So, Prop A.
Austin, Texas, baby.
Prop A, Prop B. That's right. They're on the ballot. We had Election Day. And I always have to remind people about Election Day. When election was on Saturday, every other day throughout the week, when you go to the grocery store or other places and it's a polling location, no guns are allowed there. You're not allowed to take any firearms, no weapons at all at polling locations. No handguns, no knives, no clubs, no knives over 5.5 inches are allowed. No handguns, rifles, shotguns, nothing's allowed at a polling location. And so Election Day was Saturday. And so the voting results were overwhelmingly chose Prop A, with the complaints to the Office of Police Oversight. There we go. That's what I'm trying to get out. It actually basically said that nearly 80% of voters cast ballots in favor of Prop A, while about the same number voted against Prop B. What I was trying to figure out, I'm trying to figure out the differences between Prop A and Prop B. That seems to be really, really hard and difficult. It seems like Prop A calls for more oversight in law enforcement, where Prop B kind of is worded the same, but not as much oversight. So providing for the Office of Police Oversight to have the ability to investigate anonymous complaints is what Prop A is for. It have the right to gather evidence and directly interview witnesses and be able to conduct a preliminary investigation of every complainant and determine whether a full investigation is warranted. Prop A calls to making for information provided by the Office of Police Oversight available to the public, including complaint outcomes, officer discipline, force incidents, and lawsuits against the city that allege officer misconduct. It provides for the Office of Police Oversight to determine training requirements for members of the Community Police Review Commission and receive briefings related to investigations conducted by the Community Police Review Commissioners. Providing for the director of the Office of Police Oversight to have direct access to relevant records and personnel concerning a use of records of body-worn cameras and police officer dash cameras.
What about the part where the police have to let you interview people who are disrupting rallies? You know what I mean? That's not in there. You know why?
Why?
I actually think it's very possible.
That's state police. That's DPS. That's not the Austin Police Department. So
Oh, I know. I'm just connected.
So you're on state property. You're dealing with state police. They follow state law, and then the city of Austin, they follow state law and also ordinances and then the will of the voters.
Yeah, no, I was just transitioning, Michael, into a woman.
Looking great so far.
Thanks, dude. Can you tell?
I can. The mustache gives it away.
That's how you can tell I'm a woman?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that makes sense now.
You identify
in today's world.
as?
I identify as a...
Garita. What up, Garita?
I identify as a roll of scotched heavy-duty tape now.
Garita.
The reason I wanted to bring that back up was because we played the video, we went to the break, we came back, yada, 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 police accountability. Here's what I wanted to say. It's very possible the guy that was disrupting that rally was a plant.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been a agent provocateur from the FBI. He could have been from DPS. He could have been Austin police. Regardless, those Texas DPS officers very much were almost running cover for him. They were almost protecting him. It was really weird. Or he could have been a plant from within the rally itself, and the people that organized the rally had, their security walking him out. They had a guy wearing all black with an earpiece walking him out saying, "Please, stop." It was crazy, man.
Yes.
I mean, that's crazy.
You should have followed them all the way to their vehicle.
I know. I'm not happy about my cameraman's lack of cojones. I was
he
frustrated.
handing out some pamphlets about how
they said these the pamphlets had a bunch of Jewish organizations on them, and it said these pamphlets are being handed out randomly without malicious intent, which is debatable. But regardless, the point, it doesn't even really matter what he was handing out. The point is that the police were stopping me from interviewing this guy when we could have got some very useful information. You know what I mean?
We don't care about anti-Semite.
What? Speak for yourself, man.
I don't care. We don't care about them. Let them spur their hate, whatever. Just ignore them, move on, keep it moving. I don't even care about them. Let them spur their hate.
Yeah, I guess. If that's what you think. I mean, I agree. I mean, I believe in free speech, but that's like I said, that's kind of irrelevant. The problem is that the police were stopping me from interviewing somebody. We have freedom of press. We have freedom of speech. We have freedom of movement.
That's
Do
true.
we? Well, we're supposed to.
Yeah.
We haven't for a very long time.
Yeah.
Oh, here comes Casey with the docs. What do we got here?
All right, so, we're talking about, this is about Prop A versus Prop B.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think Prop B was paid for by the Austin Police Association.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that Casey, nice sound effects.
Wow,
that's probably why I didn't pass. City like Austin, the police should have supported the other prop if they wanted to win. You know what I'm saying?
Should have said,
reverse
"We
psychology.
support Prop A."
Police against police. That could have worked. You never know in today's day and age.
Well, wasn't Prop A paid for by all outside of Austin groups?
Of course it was. Of course.
So people that weren't even in the city limits.
That should be illegal.
Oh, I believe
right?
out of state.
Out of state?
No, no. It's always from California and New York.
Exactly.
Always.
Yep.
Oh, that's a problem.
Yeah.
All right, so
And Oklahoma.
Oh, we don't like those crazies in
Wait.
Oklahoma.
What are the Okies? Why do the Okies have a dog in this
There's a bunch
race?
of nut jobs in Oklahoma.
Let's go to Windstar.
That's one state I don't even drive through that state.
Yeah.
I treat Oklahoma like Mississippi and Alabama. I try to get through there before night falls.
But
Hit the pedal.
Well, I'm not even going to say what I was just going to say. Casey will probably click the dump button.
All right, so Prop A versus Prop B. Below are items and are pieces of items that are in equity actions measure but not VoIPs. So equity action, participate in investigations of officer conduct, conduct a minimum of preliminary investigations, conduct a random assessment of department use of force reviews, determine training requirements. Equity action measures states OPO, the Officer Police Oversight, shall have the below access, direct access without hindrance. Now, VoIPs, this is what does VoIP stands for? That stands, Voters for Oversight, Police Accountability.
Oh, that was an acronym. I thought you were trying to say voice.
No, VoIP. VoIPA.
Gotcha.
Measure does not include the without hindrance provision and adds a line about releasing such records to OPO in accordance to the Texas law. Shall have access to relevant department records, including records with relevant information concerning any use of force incident and records. So basically, I guess what it boils down to is who supported what, and that's what people voted on. Who supported what?
I mean, look, dude, regardless, the fact that there's so much money that's out of state in our local state
elections.
in our local elections is just out of control. That's like the same. That's the same thing as it's essentially the same thing as the federal election with money from out of the country. You know? That liberals are complaining about, and then but when it's on their side, they're for it. I mean, it's just the hypocrisy of principle is out of control. And
now,
I'm a man of principles, Michael.
Now, how will the outcome of the vote impact police oversight in Austin? Well, in general, anything mapped out in the APD contract would overrule a city ordinance. So the labor negotiations team that worked with APD and the city on the contract said that the city council Wednesday, the legal effect of the equity action petition, whether it's in effect if there is no contract, many of those provisions and the will of the voters, quite frankly, will not come to pass. Rebecca Hayward, who spoke on behalf of the negotiators, said that it is because certain aspects of Prop A would be trumped by Texas law. Previously, APA President Thomas Villarreal said the provisions regarding access to department and personnel files without hindrance is the component that conflicts with the state law. Even if provisions mapped out aren't able to immediately go into effect as law in the city, Chief Chacon said the outcome of the vote will impact upcoming discussions, and the city and APA go back to the drawing board on a long-term deal. So it's going to depend on what happens at the Texas legislature, because there's a bill, before the Texas legislature that talks about Austin, where cities like Austin, and and the funding and police accountability and all that kind of stuff. So it depends on what is passed in the Texas legislature. And the voters, all this stuff is going to conflict, and we're going to be back to the drawing board all over again. So it's really going to be like, let's start all over.
So how does that work? Now that it's passed, if parts of that of the proposition are against the law,
we got to wait till session is over.
Okay, yeah.
So we got to see what bill is passed in session, Texas legislature.
I was just going to say that before we get into a big discussion about this, we have to go to a commercial break.
Yeah, I'm not used to looking at
that. No, I know. When I first started doing this show, too, I did the same thing. I would start talking about something, and then Michael would go, "This is Michael Cargill," and you are listening.
I recognize it when I see him look up. And I look up at it, too.
Yeah, I love how so abrasively he'll yell. And I'm deaf, so I have to turn the volume really high up, and then it just blows my eardrums out. And any second, I believe it's going to happen. It could be.
This is why we really don't like Gary. This is Michael Cargill, and you are listening to Come and Talk It.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jack Jones here, and I get my gun news from Michael Cargill on Come and Talk It.
Your business is going to have technical problems. There's no question about it. Pacific Office Automation is your guy, because problem solving is our passion. Every business is unique, no matter how big or how small the problem. From copiers and printers, telephone systems, managed IT, print services, and more, we offer integrated, streamlined office solutions to keep your office humming. With Pacific Office Automation, it's problem solved. Visit pacificoffice.com today to find out more.
Whether it's a typical traffic stop or you're just involved in a use of force incident, encounters with law enforcement can be scary and stressful. In the heat of the moment, you may inadvertently say something you don't mean or make an inconsistent statement. These are red flags for officers, and if they think you're lying or your story doesn't add up, they might arrest you and let the criminal justice system decide your fate. Police officers are trained to get information from you without making the interaction seem like a formal interrogation. But remember, from the moment an officer arrives on scene, everything you say and everything you do will be scrutinized in court. The prosecuting attorney will attempt to use anything and everything against you. So what do you say? You say, I invoke my right to remain silent, and then let your attorney interact with law enforcement on your behalf. One important note though, do not throw common sense out the window. For example, if the intruder's hiding somewhere in your house when the police arrive, or if you saw the perpetrator pitch his weapon into your backyard, quickly tell the police and then stop talking. You might ask, what about my rights? What if the police never read me my Miranda rights? Miranda rights is the common name for a collection of rights contained in the Miranda warnings, given to suspects when they're placed under arrest. The warning comes from a 1966 Supreme Court case, Miranda v. Arizona. In that case, the court held that statements from a custodial interrogation would not be admissible unless proper procedural safeguards were in place to protect the defendant's Fifth Amendment rights. We've all seen these warnings on TV and movies. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to have an attorney. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law, and so on. So do police have to read you your rights? No. It's important to note that officers are not required to read you these rights unless you're in custody and subjected to interrogation. If the police show up to a crime scene and start asking you general questions and you voluntarily tell them everything that happened, those statements can be used against you regardless of the Miranda warnings because you're not in custody. If you're put in handcuffs but you say something incriminating on your own without being questioned, those statements can and will be used against you because you're not being interrogated. You're just starting to spout off. This is why it's imperative that you know your rights, and you shouldn't rely on the police to read them to you. Affirmatively invoke your rights. Say, I'm invoking my right to remain silent, and my right to my attorney. Once you do that, the police legally shouldn't continue questioning you without your attorney present. But remember, there's a second part to this equation. After invoking your rights, you must exercise those rights. That means you have to keep your mouth closed. Protect yourself. Don't let the legal system take advantage of you after an incident. And Law Shield members, if you've been involved in a self-defense incident, remember to call the emergency hotline and speak with your independent program attorney.
Welcome back to Come and Talk It. And now here's Michael Cargill.
All right, so let's talk about this California to Utah. So a 60-year-old California man, California, that state that have those really strict gun laws, he shows up to his brother's house in Utah, kills his brother, and shoots his brother's wife. He then grabs a shotgun, sets the house on fire, and has a shootout with responding officers, and no officers were injured. Take a look at this video here that we're rolling in the background here. And just so you know, you're gonna see a dog, and I'm sad to report that the dog died in the fire that this guy set, according to the GoFundMe page. So, man, this is a very crazy story. This guy just randomly shows up to his, sister's house, and shoots the husband, shoots the sister, and then gets in a shootout with law enforcement, all caught on the Ring camera. Man, I tell you, Ring cameras are catching a lot of different things out there. But take a listen to the audio. Man, yeah, that's a crazy scene there. Yeah, you had law enforcement respond to the scene, end up stopping this guy, and sad to report that the dog also passed away in the fire that this guy set. That's a lot of anger. the drive from California to Utah to kill someone. That's a lot of pent-up anger.
You had some time to think about that on the drive.
A long time, a long drive to think about that.
And what's interesting is on the Ring video, when you listen to it, there towards the end before the cops show up, you can hear him. He's either on the phone with somebody or what, and he's telling whoever he's talking to empty his bank accounts and do it quickly, get to his garage, and then of course the cops show up, and what happens.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
Insane.
So Gary, before we went on break, we're talking about that Proposition A and Proposition B. So apparently, the problem with Prop A, that Austin, voters actually approved, is it's actually illegal to release the information of the officers.
From the police reports?
Yeah, the officers'
That's
files.
what it boils down to. So what?
Files.
The police association is probably going to sue them then?
Yeah. And, I tell you, just because Austin, does a lot of crazy things, and they always lose in court. They lose in court a lot.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the people running the city are pretty incompetent. I mean, it's a bunch of idiots.
They lost to you in court.
Yeah, they actually do. They lose in court a lot.
I would imagine they do a bunch of dumb stuff.
Yeah, a lot.
Good save,
Yeah,
Gary.
almost got dumped.
Uh-huh.
Almost had to dump me.
Oh my goodness.
What's the purpose of people like Chris Harris or whoever in getting access to those reports? I mean, the reason that the police aren't completely transparent with the reports is because of investigations, correct? Ongoing investigations.
If you want to change, things in the state, you got to go to the Capitol. You got to change the law.
The state law, because the state law says you can't do that. That's illegal.
That's correct.
Maybe they want to know who's being investigated.
Yeah, that's where I was going with this. So it's possible that the people want to get access to the records because they want to see who's being investigated. Because I don't know, maybe if somebody like, dare I say, our former mayor, maybe could have.
Hey! Could have what? Could have what?
Well, he was a real estate attorney, right?
Yes, he was. He is.
And there's a lot of real estate development in the city, right?
Yes, there is.
Under his watch as mayor, right?
Yes, there is.
I'm not trying to connect dots that aren't connected, but I am saying that it is possible that, there could be some corruption, dare I say?
What? In Austin?
That's wild, right? To think
Austin,
something like in such a weird place, dude. I mean, come on, dude. You think that the city of Austin growing this quickly isn't totally corrupt at the city council level, at the local level? Give me a break, man. I could give you a dozen examples of other cities who have had corruption, schemes and been in trouble for stuff like that, from Chicago to LA to New York to, Newark, New Jersey. I mean, dude, there's plenty of cities that have had corruption scandals, and why would Austin be any different? The fact that people think our city council and our local government is clean is completely insane. And honestly, it's ignorant, and I almost would say stupid. What do you think, Michael?
I don't know. I like the fact that Department of Public Safety, the DPS, the state police are patrolling in Austin.
Why?
I like that.
Well, they harassed me, Michael.
Well,
they violated me.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Shut your mouth.
You should take it up with their proper, you should file a complaint.
All right, I'm voting for Prop A.
Hey, it's the election's over. Okay, election's over.
You think I'm going to vote in those elections in this city? You think those are legit? Even, I mean, come on, dude.
You're going to have some bad experiences.
Maybe they are,
you have a bad experience. You need to go ahead and file a complaint. Go through the process. But I do think, in totality of it all, it's good that we have the state police, the Texas Department of Public Safety patrolling, the city of Austin, and kind of offsetting the fact that we're 300 Austin police officers short.
Which is weird because didn't the police department get refunded?
Yeah, they did.
So that makes no sense. Hey, listen to this. Was it DPS that cleared out the homeless encampments under the bridges?
A combination, yes. DPS.
Okay, so look, they do good things.
Yes, they do.
But they also need to stop harassing me when I'm trying to do my street journalism.
No, you just need to listen.
I'm not going to do that.
Do whatever the police say.
Yeah, hey, Michael, I'm just going to do whatever they say. Give up your guns. Okay, I'll just listen.
Maybe you're just not listening.
Let me just give up my bump stocks.
Got to follow in your
I'll
camera
just give it
guys,
to him. Here you
steps.
Yeah, let me just give him my guns, Michael.
You need to comply and and file a complaint. Okay,
Michael. Look, I'm gonna tell you something, dude. I got a problem with authority, and for good reason. Authority in this country is out of control.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, man. I know I like to joke around and have a good time, but I do. Just because I'm wearing a straw hat and a cactus shirt doesn't mean that I shouldn't be taken seriously.
That's the problem with this generation, that young generation.
What? That y'all messed it up for us? Come on.
Don't know how to respect authority.
You know what?
I can hear Cartman.
No,
or
you
whoever
stop.
was
You
saying
stop that. Was that the problem with our founding fathers? They didn't respect authority either. I'm basically George Washington, man.
More like George
Put
Wallace.
me on the $400 bill now.
Come on, man.
More like George.
Actually, no. We actually really, and I mean, we should be putting Steven Adler.
Who is that?
On money. The former mayor.
Oh,
the guy who basically destroyed Austin, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you lost it on that one.
I'm just saying. Look, I do hard-hitting journalism, and we have serious interviews, but I also like to have a little bit of laughs and comic relief, because if we don't have that, man, people are going to start losing it, more so than they already are.
Yeah, that's true. You could be like this guy running to the gun store, being chased by some random dude in Austin streets.
That's insane.
And then leading him right to his house.
I think the crime in Austin, the increase, actually started with the influx of homeless people with that camping ordinance.
It did.
I really think it did.
You got the homeless
100%.
situation. You got the everything that happened in 2020. And the Austin Police Department released a statement. The Austin Police Department said that they're aware of the election results and they're taking immediate action to determine the city's intentions regarding the implementation and enforcement of the illegal provisions contained in Prop A. APA simply will not stand by while the city and anti-police activists operate in blatant disregard for state law and the rights and protections afforded to their hardworking men and women. And so they released a statement on Twitter and Facebook. And so I'm assuming that they're going to file a lawsuit once this goes into effect, as soon as the city of Austin enacts this, and they're going to sue the city, and the city always loses. And so we'll see also what the Texas legislature does. We'll see what happens come sine die and what happens come September the 1st, whatever laws that the Texas legislature have made, what happens then. You got to be safe out there. You should always carry all the time. Take a class, learn use of force and deadly force, learn what you can, what you can't do, where you can carry, where you can't carry. You need to make sure you're proficient with the firearm. Don't get caught in a situation where you're in a mall, you're at a grocery store, you're out and about with the family, and you're not able to protect and keep your family safe. The last thing I want to do is watch one of my loved ones die because I did not have my firearm with me to protect them. I am the head of my household. My job is to protect my family. And if I don't have my gun, I cannot do that. As always, more guns equals less crime. You go out there and you buy yourself a gun. You've been listening to Come and Talk It with Michael Cargill.